Yeah, so here it is. I'm guessing, well, not guessing, but I'm suggesting that if you really want me to do a particular country, then keep asking. And, yeah, and I'm sure that I'll get round to it sooner rather than later. I've had a lot of requests in the past for Mexico, and I've done that now, and that's been quite successful. Okay, I'll start up here in the top corner of the map. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's a lot of birds outside having fun in the trees. And you might be able to hear the birds in the background. And so yeah, hopefully that doesn't affect this video. Okay, so I'm doing the border now between Peru and Ecuador, and it goes sort of something like this, and down a little bit, and up and around like that, and Ecuador continues up in here, and this is the Pacific Ocean. I remember once calling it the peaceful Pacific, but I was reminded about the times when it wasn't so peaceful. But anyway, and then I need to get down to that point there. So this is the coast of Peru, and the coast to the Pacific Ocean. I'll spin that around a little bit, and it kind of goes down something like this, I suppose. A little bit further, and a little bit further, and then I'll do a turn there at Pisco, I think is the town, and it goes out into a bit of a lump, and comes back around a little bit, and goes down there and around, and this is Chile right down the bottom, as in the country Chile, not as in it's cold. So, okay, that's so far. I suppose that should have come out a little bit there, but anyway. And now it needs to come over like this. This is Colombia up here, Ecuador, Colombia, and I'll write those names in a little bit later. This is following a river. Down here is the border, and we need to get to roughly about there, I'd say. And then there's the border, goes straight down. It's obviously this is Peru is more of a portrait country, but I'm putting it on a landscape piece of paper and a landscape video, so it makes it a little bit smaller than you'd like. And we've got Brazil here, then Brazil comes, this must be following another river as well, so it comes back around and then up to a point like that, and down, nice big straight line there, and around, another big straight line, and we're down into Bolivia, and sort of go around a bit like this, and round again, and a few rounds, and down to the bottom there of Peru. So it's not too bad, I suppose. For Peru, now what I'll do next is I will write things in the other countries in, like I might use my other pencil, Ecuador. It's quite a tricky one to spell, Ecuador. Well, not really, but anyway, I found it tricky. Colombia, Brazil, and Bolivia's here somewhere. And right down the bottom is Chile, or Chile, as I probably should call it. Now the map, sort of Chile's borders there. Colombia and Brazil heads off in that direction, and then the border between Colombia and Brazil goes up in that direction, and Ecuador's up there a little bit like that, and there's the border heading up there in that direction. So I'm going back to using orange now for the border, borders, so I'll start colouring in with the orange border, because I think that makes it look relatively distinctive. And you can definitely see where Peru starts and the other countries stop. Or is it Peru stops and the other country starts? And around we go. And round again. I can hear the little parrots chirping outside. At one point there was at least 100 of these rainbow lorikeets in the trees after eating some of the seeds or something in the trees. I think they're having a great time. And there was also the noisy miners. The noisy miners were not happy. I don't think they were trying to chase them off, but anyway, those rainbow lorikeets, they come in big flocks. They're a little parrot, about twice the size of a budgie, a budgerigar or a budgie, and they're green and red. Amazingly docile and friendly, and at certain times you can put a bit of bread on your hand and they'll come down, and these are wild birds, just come down and take the bread from your hand. I guess they've got to be hungry enough to do that, but yeah, amazingly friendly. Now what are we doing? This is so we've got Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil and Bolivia, and I've got to do the border now, back around to Bolivia. Now what I was going to say about Brazil is that there's a lot of rainforests in Brazil around the Amazon, which I will draw in later on in the video, and perhaps those little parrots calling out give it a bit of a jungle sound to it. I don't know. Maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. One other thing which is totally off the topic, but still, I was reading about old Tarzan movies from the 1930s, 1940s or 1950s, and apparently they would use the Australian kookaburra in the noise, not the calling, the laughing sound of the Australian kookaburra in the Tarzan movies, which I suppose is supposed to give it a jungle sound, but for an Australian, I'm guessing that would sound pretty funny to see Tarzan supposedly in the African jungle with a kookaburra laughing at him in the background. Anyway, slightly off topic. So, what do I need to say? Oh, I need to tell you that this is the Pacific Ocean, or as I like to call it, the peaceful Pacific. But that's the Pacific Ocean. images, colouring in the coastline, firstly with Ecuador and now down into Peru. So I should really write probably in the middle. Where should I write that? In big letters. So showing you that definitely this orange country in the middle is Peru. And continuing around, I'd attack this from a different angle. I should really be left-handed for this one, but unfortunately I'm right-handed. Probably go better with a left-hander. But anyway, this is the coastline and we're just coming up to the capital here, and the capital of Peru is Lima, or is it Lima? I suppose you pronounce it Lima. Lima is the capital of Peru. And keep going on down to the coast, the Pacific Ocean. So it's and almost finished. Down to the bottom, or back using it the other way again, and down to Chile in the bottom. Now the last thing to do for the map is just do it lightly, and I'll try to do this slowly, is colour in with the orange pencil across the map to colour in the map of Peru. And up the top here where I'm colouring in, this is sort of where the Amazon River is, and a lot of the rainforests are also there in Peru. There's also, which I find amazing, there's the rainforest, but there's also sort of big sand dunes as well, which I'll point out later on in the video. So down further here there's a lot of towns and names, but I'll keep going, almost finished colouring in the bottom of Peru. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's not quite exactly accurate, but it's not too bad for a freehand map. Now what do I have to tell you about Peru? I've got your capital of Lima, and so the population is around about, there's about 30 million people live in Peru. It's probably, might be a little bit over 30 million, and they mainly speak Spanish, but there's a few other native languages that are still spoken. And the currency of Peru is called the Nuevo Sol. So I'm 100% sure I haven't pronounced that correctly, so maybe somebody in the comments will let me know how to pronounce the currency of Peru, because I feel my pronunciation that is Nuevo Sol. So 100% sure I'm not right, but anyway, I'll move on. Now what you want to know is, where is the Amazon River? And the Amazon River, the bulk of it sort of comes over here, but it also, there's all little rivers that feed into it all the way over through Peru, because Peru is fairly mountainous. So there's all little rivers that are all, it's a bit like it's kind of like your blood veins in a way. It's all the little rivers all feeding into the Amazon, and I'll just write Amazon River there, and that obviously keeps going on then through into Brazil. that one's heading up to the north, or coming from the north, and there's sort of rivers that go around here through the mountain ranges. I won't draw them all in, I'll just draw one more there actually. But that gives you an idea of all the rivers in Peru that feed into the Amazon River. Not 100% sure where all the mountain ranges are, but I think they're mainly, the mountain ranges are mainly sort of down here along the coast. Now when we're talking about mountain ranges, I'll draw a little peak like that, and the highest mountain in Peru is, oh, got the wrong pencil in, is called El Husqvarna. Now I'll just have to El Husqvarna, it's roughly about there. Got Lima there, and it's pretty well to the north of Lima. So, I'm pretty sure I've spelled that correctly. El Husqvarna at 22,000 feet. It's the highest mountain in Peru. There's a number of mountains in Peru, but that's the tallest mountain in Peru. Now, is there anything else to tell you? Oh, okay. Now up here a little bit. Roughly, I'd say it's roughly there. And that's a place called, I'll write it out into the ocean, Cerro Blanco. That's the Cerro Blanco, and it's a massive sand dune. I don't know if that is what that translates to, but that's a big sand dune in Peru, and it's called the Cerro Blanco, and it's roughly about there, surprisingly close to the coast. But yeah, so that's it there. Now, what other towns might be interesting? There's nothing that's really jumping out at me. I guess Pisco, I mentioned that before, is there, and right down here on the border is a town called Taka Arica. So, apologies, that sort of thing there roughly. Apologies for my pronunciation on all those towns, but anyway, I will move on. There's a town here on the coast called Payton. So it's mainly a coastal place, but I guess people would live inside as well. Not inside, as in away from the coast. Lima's on the coast, and there's lots of other towns there on the coast that people may or may not visit on holidays. And up here, last one I'll put in is Salana is up there on the coast. Now, anything else exciting to tell you? Potatoes. The potatoes originated in Peru. They were the first, I think it might have been perhaps the Incas were in, I better write that too, it was the home of the Incas. A famous old civilization was in Peru, and potatoes were first cultivated from Peru. So as you're munching into your chips and mashed potato and things, then you could think about the potatoes coming from Peru. And there is what else? Oh, Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola originally, coca leaf is, oh sorry, that's what I should say, coca leaf has always been popular in South America and Peru, and Coca-Cola up until 1903 used to include coca preservatives in their soft drink, but they removed them from 1903 because people got upset that the effects of cocaine from drinking Coca-Cola. So I thought that was interesting. Pisco Sour. That's apparently the national drink, or yeah, the national drink of Peru was Pisco Sour, which is made from brandy, lemon, sugar, egg white, and ice in the Pisco Sour. And now another thing is guinea pigs apparently are a popular delicacy in parts of South America, including Peru. They like to eat guinea pigs, but anyway, I won't talk any more about that. Oh, the Amazon. The Amazon actually covers 60% of Peru, so this whole, all these rivers that feed into the Amazon River, they've probably got other names, but or maybe they don't, but yeah, that's all, covers all that Amazon rainforest and mountain areas, covers 60% of Peru. So, fish. I guess a lot of people live on the coast and they like to fish, and so fish is very popular in Peru. And surfing. Surfing, actually, I did read somewhere that there's a 4-kilometre break, which is 4K break, somewhere in Peru. So I can't find those facts at my fingertips, mate, at the moment, but that basically means you can ride a wave for 4 kilometres up on, as long as you don't fall off, of course, or get dumped or anything, but yeah, then yeah, you can ride the whole wave for 4 kilometres. And also, Peru is very rich in natural resources, things such as gold and silver and copper. But unfortunately for Peruvians, it's still very a poor country, so obviously the wealth from the mining is not necessarily shared with the people. Oh, now wait a tick, I was going to, that's what I to tell you, is down here. There's this between Bolivia, and I'll draw that in a bit, between Bolivia and Peru is, and I'll just do that in a bit of blue, because this is a big, large lake. It's the highest navigable lake. It's called Lake Titicaca. And when I read that recently, I thought, yes, I know, I've heard about Lake Titicaca, and that's actually the highest navigationable lake. Is that the right word? It's a lake that you can, the highest as in elevation, it's the highest lake that you can put a boat on, and yeah, navigable lake on Earth with the surface. Okay, there we go. It's 3,812 metres above sea level, and for people that don't know their metres, that's about 12,500 feet. Okay, well, I think that's pretty well Peru done and dusted. Quite pleased with that map, and hopefully you like the map as well. So yeah, I think there's probably not really a lot of other things to tell you. So yes, okay, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video.